Coming up on Nursing Success TV.
This month, Dr. Phyllis has advice for nurses balancing work, home, and education. And we meet nurse Kate Christmas, who shares ideas for nurses seeking new opportunities.
Ask Dr. Phyllis is brought to you by New York Presbyterian Hospital. Amazing things are happening here.
RN Mary Beth writes, I'm pursuing my MSN, but I'm finding it very difficult to manage my family's needs, my work schedule, and my studies. I'm feeling more exhausted and stressed out every day. What would be a good way to approach my leadership about cutting back my hours?
Mary Beth, I'm pleased to hear that you're trying to explore ways to maintain a healthy work balance in your life rather than attempting to be a superwoman. You shared that you loved working where you are for the past 10 years, and I presume leadership feels the same way about you. I would start with a meeting with your human resource manager. Get all the information you can about available part-time positions, job sharing, etc. This way, when you share your desire to pursue your master's degree with leadership, you can have an informed discussion. If you intend to stay after completing your degree, make that known. It's important they understand that their investment in you will have a dividend. Be sure to listen to what leadership shares with you. Keep an open mind and stay flexible. The goal is to create a partnership and arrive at a win-win solution.
Email your questions to askdrphyllis at nursingsuccess.tv. With 37 years of nursing experience, Kate Christmas's career has taken her in many exciting directions, from med-surg and emergency services to flight nursing, consulting, and recruiting. Now, as a senior sourcing specialist for SCL Health, Kate finds nursing candidates for hard-to-fill positions. Today, she shares career highlights and offers advice to nurses seeking new opportunities, starting with her inspiration to become a nurse.
I had a family friend of my parents who was a nurse, and we were all on vacation one year, several families, and one of the dads had a heart attack. And I noticed that the adults were just absolutely panicked, except for the nurse. She knew what to do, she was calm, and I thought, I want to be like that person. I trained at Geisinger Medical Center, which was a diploma program. It was hospital-based. Geisinger gets a lot of kudos right now. It's one of the HMOs that President Obama touts. They were the third HMO in the United States, so they've been doing it for a long time. They've perfected what works and what does not. I did about 18 months in med-surg when I first graduated at an academic medical center, Johns Hopkins, and then I moved to Louisiana and started at West Jefferson in their emergency department. One of the most memorable experiences that I had as an RN, I worked as a flight nurse on the 14th flight program in the country at West Jefferson General Hospital in Marrero, Louisiana. We served a 150-mile radius of New Orleans and flew out to oil rigs and accidents on the highway. It was really a kind of an experience of learning on your feet and applying everything you know while you're out in the mud up to your knees trying to start an IV on someone who's dying. It was fascinating work, fascinating. And I loved the flying too. That was a benefit, a bonus. And that's been another benefit of nursing. I've seen a lot of the country and actually a lot of the world due to this career. And I was working at a hospital called St. Agnes in Fresno, California. Around that time, our nurse recruiter was moving into a new role, and I had gone on several trips with her to help recruit for our hospital. And she asked if I would be interested in the job, and I was very interested. And when I had the opportunity to take on the role myself, I did. And now I'm working for SCL Health, which is a system with 8 hospitals in 3 states, and I do sourcing for hard-to-fill positions. So when a recruiter's having a challenge finding OR nurses or critical care, I'll look at how we can reach out to people in a unique way, let them know about what our needs and our organization settings are, and hook up the candidates with the recruiters. In terms of resume, make sure things like your certifications, a real description of what you actually do day to day is in the resume, because as nurses well know, a med-surg unit can be very, very different, one from the other. the kind of role that you have, the kind of staffing that you have, the acuity of the patients. And nurses know themselves, even within their own organizations, if they float, for example, they know the difference between floating from one unit to the other. So try to show the recruiter or the nurse manager that when you're putting that resume together, of what kind of experiences you've had, what kind of work you have done, as well as any education that you're in the process of or planning on, participation. Perhaps you've been on a committee in your national organization. If you have been, put that together. Or maybe you're an officer in your local chapter. All of that is important to put in that resume. For new grads out there, I know it's a real challenge. Look locally where you're doing your clinical rotations and so on. Look at the places that you're working with there to see if you can find a home close to where you are. And you also want to not only choose from your own local schools, but have a broad spectrum. So don't get discouraged, just keep trying and stay out there, present yourself as well as possible, and try to set yourself apart in some way. You know, what is it about that makes you a great nurse?
Thanks for joining us today. Click the banner below this video player to share your ideas and suggestions for Nursing Success TV. We'll see you next time.